So I have a channel request, a comment that was posted on one of my videos requesting me to talk about what Hindus believe about death, or on death. And that's a big one because that's like asking what religion believes about death. Hinduism just has so many different beliefs about death. I couldn't possibly cover a fraction of them, especially with the amount of knowledge that I have. But I can just throw what I know out there and what I can bring to mind. I never really prepare anything for these videos. I'm just working off of the knowledge that I have, and I rarely even write notes for videos, so keep that in mind. So this one's going to be a little interesting, so especially considering since I went to school for a very long time today and it's been a long day. But that being considered, let me go ahead and get started. Now let's start out with some basic beliefs. Yama is the god of death. The god of, you could say he's the god of Dharma as well. He is not very prominent in common day Hindu thought compared to other larger forms of god like Vishnu or Shiv. The Vishnu and Shiv are far bigger parts of God, I guess you could say. Yama is more of a demigod. Shiv and Vishnu and are more bigger sections of God. They cover, Vishnu covers preservation of all that is, of all of creation, and Shiv is the deconstructor of creation. Not necessarily that he who destroys, but the deconstructor of illusions. And so Yama was hundreds of years ago, even thousands of years ago, considered the god who basically, when you die, he takes you to the land of the dead. He takes you wherever you are and travels south into the land of the dead, the land of your ancestors, where you're going to meet your ancestors, and hopefully you had children, because there's one Hindu custom, very old custom, that believes that if you don't have children, then your soul will not be able to travel back into the stream of reincarnation. You will not be able to reincarnate. You will just kind of you'll be stuck in the land of the ancestors, and they'll be constantly judging you. Now this is a very old Hindu belief, and I'm just starting out with the very basic ones. And Yama is the god of order, justice. He doesn't have emotional reactions to what somebody does. He just looks at their karma, what they have done in their life, how many bad things they've done, how many good things they've done, and then their just rewards and punishments. And a lot of time in these old ideas in Hinduism, the very, very old ones, you don't get to balance it out. It isn't like good karma kind of offsets the bad karma. It's like, okay, you have to pay this amount of pain in Narg, which is like hell, and then you are rewarded this amount of pleasure in Swarg, which is the lunar heaven. Now, hell, Narg, in Hinduism is very similar to, I guess you could say, Christian hell. So it's very dark. It's a realm of pain. It's very dark and filled with the smell of decay. But Swarg, it's similar to a lot of heavens in other religions, but Swarg is what we call a lunar heaven. Now, I still believe that a lunar heaven exists. I still believe that Narg exists. It's just the Yama part that people don't really believe as much as Hindus did in the past. Yama being kind of like the ferryman in Greek mythology. Now, Swarg is that place you go where you have a lot of good karma. You did a lot of good in your life. You've helped a lot of people. You sacrificed a lot of the moments that you had in this lifetime, these limited moments, to help others, to do right, and to leave the world in a better place than you found it. And all these karmic rewards build up. Now, these aren't karmic rewards that come from seeking moksha, seeking liberation from materiality. It's all about doing good deeds. Good deeds add up to the kind of karma that you would spend in Swarg. It's not like a monetary system. It's all kind of a one material system, to where you have a certain amount of good karma, you have a certain amount of bad karma. But in the old idea of Hinduism, you have to burn off the bad and the good. But I still believe in Swarg. I don't believe that you have to get punished for all the bad things and you get rewarded. I think that they do balance out. My personal opinion. A lot of Hindus nowadays believe that. But anyway, let's continue. Swarg, you go there, and then once you kind of enjoy all the desires you want to enjoy, once you realize, your full potential of all the things that you truly want as a soul, as a spirit. As far as materiality goes, enjoying material, as far as kind of enjoying opulence. Once all of that good karma is burnt off, then you come back here. And why do you come back here? Why do you come back from Swarg? Now, you come back here because the lunar heaven isn't the heaven that you go to, that is like the next stage of existence, that you go to when you're stepping up, because you've realized certain truths about the nature of reality. Swarg is where you go to enjoy yourself because you've done a lot of good things. It doesn't mean that you've reached certain levels of realization. It just means that you've been compassionate and done enough good deeds to earn some downtime, I guess you could say. But that's what a lunar heaven is. You have to come back here to learn, to truly understand the nature of reality, to take the next step. Now, so Swarg is the lunar heaven, and the astral heaven is the heaven that you go to that is truly the next step. You go to the astral heaven, which apparently the astral realm is 3 times larger than, the multiverse in materiality, and the material plane has universes, and it's 3 times bigger and much brighter than all of the universes on the material plane. Now, we think of space in the material plane as being infinite, but in reality, if you go far enough, it's more like a sphere. It's not necessarily like a sphere that like we think of, but all of the space kind of bends into itself if you go far enough in space. This is in some Hindu texts anyway. And so if you go trillions and trillions and trillions of years into space, just in this universe, for instance, and you're at light speed, then eventually you'll curve back around to the other side. There is still a confined space, even though it looks infinite. It is confined because of the spherical nature of this confinement that we're in. And the astral realm is actually 3 times larger, so it's still a sphere where if you go far enough and long enough and fast enough, you'll reach the other side, assuming that you'll survive, all that time. But that's just an idea. It's not something that would be very possible. But the astral realm is also spaces filled with color. It's not as black. And in the astral realm, it's interesting. Realms like Narg or different hells are actually in the astral realm, but they are confined spaces in the astral realm. They're where, demons and people who just did terrible things their entire life and did it life after life after life, went through all the different, animal forms. Once they somehow reached humanity, and they did enough good things and realized enough to reach humanity, and they did enough bad things to go through all the different animal forms. Sometimes it's in 1 life, sometimes it's in 2, sometimes it's in 100, sometimes it's slowly you devolve. But if you do enough bad things, basically, you'll go into the hells, and you'll be confined in these certain areas in the astral realm where you can't get out of, and they're filled with hypermateriality, where everything is so material that pain is amplified, where your confinement is amplified, and there is no joy, no happiness. These certain parts of the astral realm are the hells, and the astral realm, where the astral heavens exist in the astral realm as well, but they are not confined. They're more expansive. You can enjoy everything there and not confined to certain parts that are terrible. And the astral heavens are really the next step, when you've realized enough to conquer the materiality of this world and start to truly realize the nature of your soul, which is to merge back into God. You go to the astral heavens, and Paramahansa Yogananda said that his master Swami Sri Yukteswar, he went after this life, his most recent incarnation on Earth. He went to Hiranya Loka, which is a world in the astral realm, the astral heavens, where people are far more advanced and could bear his teachings, and were able to follow his teachings more effectively than here on Earth, so that they can go further into the causal realm and then merge into being one with God, literally one with God, not just beside God, but merging into God. And we think of God sometimes as like a human body, but really God is this infinity, and creation is just a tiny part of that infinity. I've covered a lot of things about about what Hindus believe about death, but this is just such a tiny fraction. These are just a lot of what I believe. And I can't speak for all Hindus. I can't speak for a fraction of Hindus. So this is just what my form of Hinduism that I follow under Paramahansa Yogananda and his disciple Swami Kriyananda. This is kind of the thinking that I follow, just for what happens at death, and in relation to death, for the kind of Hinduism that I follow. So take it for what it's worth. And any Hindus out there who are like, no, that's not what we believe, there are plenty of other Hindus out there that believe different things, and I'm one of them. You might be a Hindu that believes something else. But thank you very much for watching. The person who requested this video, I hope that this was informative. I'm not sure if I got to the core of what you were asking, but I hope that I did. So, hey, thank you very much for asking. And, hey, I do take requests. If y'all have any requests that you want to ask that are, serious and you're polite about it, it's likely that I'll do a video about it. So thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, any comments, you want to continue the conversation, shoot it down in the comment section below. Share what you think is going to happen when you die, or your ideas about death, maybe karma, reincarnation. If you don't believe in those things, that's fine. Your beliefs about death in regards to other topics. But and if you like this video at all, if you thought it was interesting at all, hit that thumbs up down there. It really helps the channel. So I hope you all have a great day, and think about what's going to happen when you die.